So this week, what we chose to talk about was we actually just didn't fit it in last week. We were supposed to talk about it last week, and we just didn't quite get it fitted in. So we're going to talk this week about pirate maps and shark habits, and we're kind of doffing our cap here to Dan John and Pat Flynn, who they did a podcast on this. You entered their competition about it, and lo and behold, Emma won the competition and won this great book by Dan John, 40 Years with a Whistle. And just by chance, I met him and I spent a weekend with him the weekend after she did that, and he has signed it and said, "You have a great friend in Gareth," which is really cool. But he's also written about how good well, he spent the weekend with him. He knows it really well. So over to Emma, because she's the expert on this, to explain basically what is a shark habit and what is a pirate map. If we can just go through that, so people are kind of like.
Okay, so let's start with the pirate map, because that's something that's obviously what won me the book in the first place. So a pirate map is it's a set of habits, consistent habits. So you may think about sort of goal setting exercises, which we talked about last week. So we talked about knowing your why behind the goal and motivation to what puts you towards achieving your goal. So the pirate map is basically a set of habits, daily habits, weekly habits, monthly habits that take you from where you are now to the goal, to your treasure.
To the treasure. Yeah. In a pirate map.
And I've drawn it on a map here.
Mine. I'll go through mine. Some of mine there is overlap, but I still think it's interesting to go through the five. We've obviously discussed them before, and I think we may well have influenced each other in that, but I think it's still worthwhile to go through. And the reason, again, that I like going through this is because these habits, you do them daily, and whether it's your training, whatever it is that you approach, you are a reflection of what you do on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. So why wouldn't you do the things that set you up for success? So what I'm going to do, I'll just run through mine. So the first one I've got is a bit similar to your. You wipe the kitchen down, if you like, before you go to bed. Mine is kit prep, so I call it kit prep. Again, this is one that stayed with me from my military days. One of the squadrons I served on, we had non-quam, non-paratus was our motto, which is it's never unprepared. So it's something that I've always carried through. So as soon as I get in from the gym, which can be pretty late on at night if I've been coaching, I unpack it, I put the wash in the wash. There's nothing worse than leaving your protein shake still in your bag for a few days later. And those of you, please sort your knee sleeves out. Take them out, wash them once in a while. So kind of getting all that stuff, getting my kit laid out, ready for the next day, getting the dirty stuff put away, and yeah, it's basic hygiene really at the end of the day, but. It means a lot to me to do that, and I the same as you. I think we talked about it before. Before I go to bed, I make sure kitchen surface is wiped down. The bowl isn't full of dishes or whatever for the next day. That's just to me that's laziness, but I get that it's not to everyone.
When you've had a busy day, it is a difficult thing to do. But you just think when you get up the next morning and that job's done for you, just how much better does your day start because it's done. Yeah. I think that's brilliant.
And if I go on to my second one, I think you mentioned this meal prep. So if there was one piece of advice from my nutrition coaching that I've been doing, it would be meal prep. It would be prep. Most people fall down on their nutrition habits by not being prepared. I guess a bit like anything. If you're not prepared, you kind of you just fail at what you're doing. So by doing daily meal prep or weekly meal prep, however you want to do it, just make sure that you.
So I do mine. I do it weekly on a Sunday. I do the food shop. I write a list and then I portion it the day before I'm going to use it.
That's the best use of time. Obviously, that saves you time in the week when you are say you've got time in reserve on Sunday. You definitely become shorter on time as the week goes on at work, kids, walking dogs, whatever it is you do. So prepping on the Sunday is really important. And like I said, probably the best bit of advice I could give to anyone, because I've seen it as a barrier to people actually succeeding with their nutrition goals. Meal prep, prepare your food. I know it's boring. I see so many photos of people doing their meal prep on a Sunday, but it's good. It's really good.
When you get hungry as well, you've always got something. You know what you're having. You've got something ready, and it's prepped and it's portioned. So you don't need to grab the plastic cream. Is what I'd go for.
Yeah, let's not even go there. My next one: read for 30 minutes every day. I set this one, and this was my new one last year, and it's kind of moved up my list of importance. I feel like, especially in what we do in coaching and helping people, that you need to be constantly furthering your knowledge. You've just got to be learning all the time. Like the coach who goes stale, and doesn't sort of learn more is definitely not someone that I would want to employ or have coach me. So and that 30 minutes, so that can be, I try to split that up. I've usually got two books on the go. One of them will be something to do with, at the moment I've got the gut on the go, like I'm trying to learn more about the gut, and I've usually got something that's a bit out there that is a bit more of a release. But 30 minutes a day I dedicate to reading, and I really like that. That's what I really like people to do, and that's reading a book, not watching a YouTube. And it is a discipline. I was terrible at it. I would pick my book up, and I couldn't read for 30 minutes. I had to keep checking my phone. It's a discipline I've had to learn. Try it. So I now do it. I do it 30 minutes a day, and I really like that. Really like that one.
I'd like to add to that as well. So the 30 minutes a day is perfect and it's great. Then you've got to spend a little bit of time reflecting and thinking of it. So like creating the space to be able to let those things sink in. So for me, thinking on the side of not just reading and taking it as rote, but actually critically thinking about it. Being the scientist being in me is something that allowing things to absorb, taking a space, and just to not take everything as is written.
I think most of us have a problem with that. I literally can't stand in a queue in Costa without getting my phone out to have a look. I can't. Why can't I
leave
just?
it in your pocket?
Yeah, I just stand there and actually have a think. I think that's
it's
it.
Good. It's underrated think.
So my next one I'm not going to do because it's exactly the same as yours. I actually have go to bed and wake up same time every day. It's about consistency, right? It's for me. I do prefer your outlook on it of saying get up same time every day, and just go to bed. I know. So a lot of the people I work with on there when I ran my last nutrition course was they just wouldn't go to bed. Like I was trying to emphasise that they needed minimum 7, ideally 8+ hours of sleep recovery a day, and they just they weren't going to bed till really late.
So you can't be productive and creative without a certain amount of sleep. So actually, you're only doing yourself a disservice by not getting that amount of sleep because you'll be less effective the next day. And the less effective you are, the longer you're going to stay up. So it's catch-22. I'm less and less.
So you go to bed. Go to bed. Yeah. I'll go on to my last one that I've got for this. Then would be eat protein and vegetables with every meal, and I have 2 litres of water every day. I make sure I do that. The water one was one that I had to enforce because, especially through these winter months, you still should be having that amount of water, more so in the summer. But people kind of forget it and they just don't bother. Like I've got my water here, so I make sure that I drink 2 litres of water a day. That's about the recommended amount. Certainly for I don't do that many sweaty workouts, so I don't really need to be up in that. And I have protein and vegetables with every meal. They're my that's kind of my little nutrition one that I have. And I've got kind of little add-ons, the Tim Anderson stuff. So the daily reset, I kind of do mine before doing my workout to make sure I can actually move. Fish oil, I take fish oil daily. So Kevin asked the question the other week, if you could only take one supplement, I think it was, what would you take? So for me that would be fish oil, which I've always taken. That's a good quality.
I would take sunshine.
Yeah, vitamin D.
Not even vitamin D, just sunshine. Just go outside.
Should do that. And I walk my dogs for 30 to 40 minutes every day, but I kind of do that. I have to do that. I enjoy doing that. So there we go. That's fine. So what I'd love to do, I'd love to kind of put it over to you to do your 5 daily habits that will set you up. And by the way, my goal is longevity of training. So their habits that they have not changed much. There's kind of three of those that I've always had, and then I like to have a bit of fluidity or flexibility to it, so that I can change as I spend time with other people and go, well, yeah, I want to do that. The worst one I've heard is a cold shower every morning and every night.
Yeah, that was in yours last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tried it. So I got that one from Mark Spilling.
With that guy, I tried it.
Yeah, I like. So he does that every day. I just did that for dismantled. I tried it. I did a week of it. Cold shower in the morning.
What did it do any good?
It was horrific. So it made you feel amazing afterwards. But first thing in the morning, to get straight up and into a cold shower. Yeah, it's hard. It's really tough. It's really tough. But I guess it builds your resilience, as well, your mental resilience. Like to get up. When we used to do that stuff in the military, we didn't even have hot showers at most of the training camps that we'd go and stay at. Or you'd be dashing to get there because the first 5 people would use the hot water and you were left.
I don't think anyone needs to do that. No one does.
But yeah, no, so I've dropped that one out. I couldn't stick to it. But obviously we've influenced each other, but even though my goals changed over the last year, most of my daily habits haven't. Some of the specifics of my habits have. Same for you. Most of ours are reasonably simple. So yeah. So kind of what we're saying here is that to kind of accomplish your goals, or to become the athlete, the person that you want to do, rather than just focusing on what the end goal is. Focus on your daily habits, your systems, if you like. We always talk about systems.
Yeah.
Focus on those systems to build this foundation, which will give you the
and you can do this as well. So obviously ours are now focused around sort of longevity, but you can do that with a particular goal in mind. I want to pull up this year. Then you can still write those steps down to achieve that particular goal. Obviously, these ones are more geared for sort of more wide-ranging longevity goals, which I guess we both kind of believe in the end are better, but if you do have a specific goal, then you could do the same exercise for that as well. Break it down into little chunks, achievable chunks, and figure out how you're going to go from where you are now to where you need to go to the treasure. Cool.
So give it some thought. Post your 5 habits. I've done this with a lot of people and been quite inspired by what they've done actually. So it'd be really interesting what your 5 daily habits are. Thanks very much. See you all next Wednesday. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, any questions, please post it so that we can address it. It's good fun for us to do that. See you all next week.
See you next week.